welcome to anybody who is watching. You are watching a courageous conversation. My name is Pollyanna Darling, and I look after community engagement and strategy for TreeSisters. And our courageous conversations are really a celebration of the voices and courage and wisdom of women. And I'm really excited today to be speaking with Raila Mar. And Raila is an interdisciplinary artist and a tree sister and a grove tender and a TreeSisters donor and many more things. And she lives in Finland. And yeah, we're going to dive into some conversation today around environmental art and activism. So really warm welcome, Raila. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, thank you. It's my pleasure. Yeah.
So I would really love it if we could begin, if you would share with us why it is that you're a tree sister.
Yeah. So as it said in the bio, I have been working as an artist like all my adult life, and maybe as a kid as well. And 5 years ago, I had finished like a long project, which was this walk across Europe we did, and writing a book about it. And I had come into a very clear conclusion that I wanted to direct my art and my knowledge about art and kind of resources in different ways. I wanted it to go to a direction of protecting nature and environmental work. So I had this, I really, really remember I had this day when I went out to the forest and I was having kind of a creative flow in the forest. It was just like many ideas coming to me and how I would connect the art and all other communities. Also, I was in yoga and different things, how I would connect it to the environmental work and reforesting. And then I went home from there and I opened the computer and I saw TreeSisters page coming up in Facebook. And I looked at it and I was like, whoa, this is totally aligned with with this feeling of the inspiration I had. Like it's completely similar. And I joined immediately. I was like, yeah, I can put five euros a month, like no question. And then I became a volunteer for TreeSisters because at that time there were these courses offered, like now also, but it was more different teachers, and I was participating to the courses and I really, really enjoyed those. And since then I have been always kind of having this intention to support TreeSisters because I found the project so good and well organized and monitored and directed, and the empowerment of the women, it just shows in the world. Like I just admire how the TreeSisters are doing it.
Yeah, thank you.
So and especially how they're doing, like how we are leading now. I feel like yes, I am one of them, and yeah, that's how I'm here also.
And do you want to speak a little more to that how that you're talking about, the how of the leading and what that looks like for you?
Yeah, I'm yeah, I have found in my own life this women's circle, like deep sharing circles, very important. And there is a special wisdom that comes through the women who come to these kind of circles where everybody's listened and seen and heard, and as far as I have understood, it's quite a like central way in TreeSisters also to honor this sisterhood and lead from that place, like lead like this, what is called nature-based feminine leadership. I have been like tuning into that in myself, as I understand it's an exploration and what could it mean to me it's been like a real source of inspiration to me. So I've been really feeling into this and what all kinds of ways it can come through, like the intuitions that come and how nature is showing the way in most unexpected ways if you're just open to that. And yeah, something like that. And then I also have this image in my mind. My mother once said to me that, yeah, you know, in this, when birds fly together, they have these older females in front, and then they take turns and they lead. And I thought, oh, that's TreeSisters.
I like that.
Yeah, like together, and it's very wise and like, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So
Yeah.
in your bio, you say that you are engaged in environmental art and peace activism, and I'm really interested in what that looks like. What is environmental art and peace activism, and how did you start your journey to do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, environmental art comes quite naturally to me since I'm from Finland and nature is here everywhere. Like it's just so present, and it was also in my childhood, and when I grew up, it's been always very much of a source of a joy and play and comfort and all. And then I went to study art when I was 20, and I chose this specialization in environmental art because that time there was, like, when you studied fine arts, you could have painting or media arts or environmental art.
Wow.
So I actually, I got this like education for that, like the Bachelor of Arts. So we did a lot in nature, and we worked with time and space, and actually it was quite free. And during that time I traveled a lot in Siberia. I did short films, like how the for example in Siberia, how the shamans connect to nature. Like all this was part of my environmental art.
Wow.
Yeah, and I did like stone sculptures, and it was like my first study. And then later on I went much into dance, and especially Buto dance. I studied a lot with many teachers, and that's also very, very deeply connected to nature and transformation and energy work and deep image work. And so, and then we, with my partner at that time, when I was 26 or 27, we got this idea that we will do this huge walk across Europe as an artistic research. And that was, of course, all the time also in the environments. We were walking literally, we were not hitchhiking, we were walking 6 months and all through all these landscapes, and it was a huge effort, and it was a different kind of connecting inside and outside, and yeah, very improvised. And then
so were
like
you creating
yeah.
art as you walked, or what were you like, how did that work?
Yeah, sometimes we made some, especially some videos, like very funny ones also, because it was so challenging and boring, this walking. So we sometimes got this like pretty nice ideas in different environments. And we also did a little bit more political work. I did a short film which was filmed, I was rolling down the stairs of European Union Parliament, like to begin with, and then going to different areas and having some speech about the themes I found interesting, or interviewing other people. Yeah. Then we made this, all kinds of things, like creative. And then the walk was the most important, and whatever could be connected to that. And we walked through all different cultures and tried to make the way like so that we wouldn't have to stop the walk. And we got from Brussels to Istanbul, and it was a huge journey. So yeah, I wrote a book later about that with my paintings and sketches from the way and after. And yeah, well, I haven't called it environmental art, but it is obviously.
Yeah, and what do you think the role of environmental art is in catalyzing change, you know, and changing culture and society, and especially our attitudes towards the environment and the planet?
Well, I can only say from my own experience this, I think, because now, like last years, and especially last 2 years, I have gone like deep back to environmental art. I didn't plan it like that, but I got this personal crisis. I was really heavily crushed by our system. I was living in Denmark and I was deported from the country, and the stress was just incredible, just because I was a job seeker. Like the immigrant politics were pretty hard. And then I had to let go of everything. Like I was like so burned out that I couldn't like lift from the bed for a time. And I had to let go, and I let go totally of everything, like also art, and like I didn't have anything planned anymore. And I had a very dear friend with me, so it felt safe, but it felt very much meeting the fears in a deep level in this letting go. And we connected together a lot to silence and nature through food, actually, because he was a raw food expert. And then from this really, really deep letting go and being in the silence, I started to feel like there is no fear or no problem. And one day I woke up and I saw my friend doing this move, like yoga moves, and I could feel the silence and see the silence around him. And then from somewhere, like from somewhere very deep, I got this inspiration or vision of this very big nature mandala, like a mandala made with nature materials. And it was vibrating somehow, this silence and connection. And the main thing in it was that it was communicating the things we cannot put in words. Like it arose from this silence and this connection that is not explicable. But I felt like, but through art, sometimes we can transmit these things. And the vision was so powerful that I felt like, wow, I would really love to, and I kind of have to do it. It somehow came through me like as an offering or a gift. And I thought first it's for yoga community or dance, or like where people really can connect to these things. And then during these 2 years, I have developed that. I have like made many little mandalas, like small mandalas, and I have invited women to make their own, and I have invited them to tell like what helps them to get through some difficult times and share those things. And for me personally, this is all the catalyst of the change, because then I have started to think of the tropical forests as the mandalas as well. And I have like balanced these two things. Like I feel like this growing the forests and channeling the money for that, it's kind of the action side and kind of masculine side in a way. And then this art, like the peace and the connection and what the mandalas communicate is the kind of yin or this feminine side. And I feel like I need this both to be balanced for being able to sustainably continue this environmental work and meeting the situation we're in. So for me, the mandala, then I've developed, oh my God, maybe an ant is biting me. So
the joy of live broadcasting out in nature. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to say something here, or I can still say one thing. I've developed now very recently this mandala work into a workshop, like for it to be a tool to meet the emotions that come from the climate chaos and climate change, because it's such an existential thing. So I feel like we really need these tools, and I really want to share this mandala as a tool.
Yeah.
But it's still developing now. So
I had a look on your mandala website, and I looked at some of the mandalas that were on there and the ones that were sent by other women. And after I looked, I went to look out of my window, and I realized that just looking at them had slowed everything in my system right down. And so I really hear what you're saying about that yin and yang, and the you know, that we need both, and that we especially, I think, need the slowing down in this situation where there's always this like urgency, crisis, you know, tendency to want to run into fixing things without stopping and slowing down and feeling for the wisdom that is in that quietness. And I loved what you just said before about watching your friend doing the yoga poses and seeing and feeling the silence that was around him. And I'm really interested to hear about your own experience with creating mandala and what it does for you in the creation of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say it depends on the day. Like it depends on the place and time and what is around. It's only thing that is common to these mandalas is the shape and the circle. And for me, it was very, very clear when it all started with this silence and this movement in the silence. The quality of non-violence was so deep, like in this level. I felt like, yeah, I would like to do these mandalas in a way that I listen so deeply to the nature that the nature will communicate to me what to do, like how to build a mandala. So the nature will offer, if I have a question or intention, or in a way why I would like today to do this mandala, then the nature will respond, and that I would deeply trust that. That was kind of the in a way a core of this mandala, this deep principle of nonviolence. So for me, it serves this connection and harmony, and the shape of the mandala. I read about it much later that it rises for people like naturally when they need this time of integration and harmonizing, and yeah. Yeah, so I think of it in a personal level, but also collectively it's very obvious.
Yeah, I saw actually one of the pictures on the website was of a group of women who were creating the mandala with their own bodies, and it reminded me so much of the South American tradition of despacho, you know, of making the blessing on the ground with something similar to a mandala, but you know, how we are also nature, and that we can make mandala of our bodies as a blessing for the earth. And I wonder what do you think about the creation of mandala on the earth, whether it's through natural materials or with our bodies, as a way of not just connecting more deeply with ourselves, but also as a sort of offering, an offering of love or attention or care for the planet.
Yeah, I relate to that very, very much. Since the mandalas, they have been developing in different cultures in different ways. Like if we just see the word, Sanskrit word mandala means a circle, so it's cultivated, or it has taken different ways in different cultures. And I feel like I would understand it that it comes from nature, and like the shapes, like the fractal shapes in nature and energy, they're much of this harmony. And I mean, I don't know so much about that, but I totally feel if we make a shape with our bodies, or to the ground, or do that, it is an offering for ourselves and for the planet, certainly, especially if it is a mandala which is made of tropical trees in the rainforest. It's like a offering. And I like this, like I like to think of the money that goes there like as an offering in that way. And this reciprocity, it's it's very inspiring to think it that way. And yeah, the feeling when we made this mandala with our bodies is really, really nice. I mean, just very enjoyable to do something like that together.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what about your challenges? Because this is a courageous conversation, and you've touched a little on, you know, feeling very burnt out from your experience in Denmark. Are there any other challenges that you've faced on this path of environmental art that you would like to share to inspire other women, or how you've managed those challenges?
Yeah, certainly. The challenges have been huge. I cannot say it in any other way, like to be honest, because of my personal life. This process of this burnouts, it has gone like really wild, and I have had a lot of support from my family and my friends, and that's one side of the challenges, like, which I also consider now as a blessing in a way. Like, it's not that I would ever wish this to anybody, but when you have to meet your death, like, to be courageous and say that, like, you have to meet this existential crisis, it actually becomes a different thing now when we look at the climate change, that you have had to go through this with yourself. And because we're kind of all facing these questions in a level or another, or denying them, or so I feel like, okay, people who have had like huge challenges, if the environment is supportive, they can really turn it into a gift, like in this classical way. But I mean, yeah, I see it now like this, although it's very recent that I had like very critical times, and yeah, and I've recovered with this support very well to be able to function. And so
Yeah.
And on the other hand, just how to get the project running has been like a challenge, has been having patience to develop it through. I've done it 5 years now, and how to make them ends meet with money, and still continue this. But I couldn't stop, since it's my creative project also.
Yeah.
So I've been developing it in a way or another, like first 3 years, and then this mandala theme came, and like I've learned everything, like how to do the website, how to make the podcasts, which I do also, like interviews. And then 1 year ago, I thought, okay, I must make a foundation, like so that people have a familiar platform for that, so that they know in Finland, the Finnish people know what is this foundation, how it works. And so with some of my friends who were willing to come to the board, and we made this happen. Like we have now this support foundation, like all this learning that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been one of the challenges, but my motivation is just like bigger, and we support each other. I think we are really creative in, like, when there are these challenges, we make solutions together. Like in these women's circles, I have really nice example of this. This one woman in our board is educated in Chinese medicine, so she said she could be our well-being mama, or like she would take care of us when we are really challenged. And then she has made this herbal extract, and it comes from the Chinese medicine. It's for the spirit, like, or the mental side, or the kind of this immaterial, but I guess also bodily. It's like helping us to face the things we have to face when we are doing this work. I just think this is it's great we can do that.
Yeah.
But when we have these challenges, then she can have this angle, like, well, if you look at it from this perspective, like, it's, we have a lot of fun also doing this.
Yeah, I love that idea that there's somebody is keeping an eye on well-being amidst everything else. Yeah. So do you have a grand vision for this Nature Mandala project, and what is it like? What's your ultimate vision for it?
Well, now that you say it, I see there is a bigger vision I haven't like looked at yet, since I've been just like doing everything that's needed. But I feel that it really connects to this from where it came from, like when the vision came, it connects to this energy of harmony and beyond language, like impermanence, and the mandala communicates it. So I aim to have that quality in everything I do, like, because there is somehow this honesty and truth in meeting people, no matter who they are. These are like the kind of what I aim for. I'm not saying I'm capable of that, like, but it's an intention, and that's what we can always pick up. And so yeah, I feel like this bigger vision, it's to channel a lot of money, like as much as we can, to this reforesting and women's empowerment. And I really want to say that my vision is that if anybody in different countries of TreeSisters, or also in Finland, if they want to use this structure I've created for this project, that they're like very welcome. Just ask me, and I can tell everything I know about this. And I have also planned to have a crowdfunding campaign in September. And my idea is that I ask donations from artists, so that they would give an artwork, or few, or as many as they want. And people who support this mandala and the foundation and the tropical reforesting, they will kind of buy these artworks, or they donate, and they choose an artwork they want to have. And also companies can buy artworks, and I'm really engaging artists now in this way, and they are very open to it. So I'm pretty inspired by this.
Yeah.
I want to inspire others to do that too, because it's really nice work, like to suggest, like, would you like to support this climate work by donating an artwork? And then it gives a different feeling to it when also saying, like, would you like to support? And then you can get this artwork to your home. Or I like this combination a lot.
Yeah, I love that. That's like turning art into trees in a really beautiful way.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So I'm just a little conscious of the time, and we
Yeah.
probably have to wrap up fairly soon. So is if there was one kind of message that you could give to people who are watching, either about the forests or about art as activism or anything else that you would like to share, or about becoming a tree sister, what would you like to share?
I would like to share one memory from my childhood, because I have in my own podcasts found it very nice to hear those from other people.
Yeah.
And when thinking of this conversation, for some reason, I came to think of this, that when I was a child, my mother got us a golden retriever, this dog. And I don't think that she knew how scared I was of dogs when she did that. And he was a little puppy, and he was like a little barking, and I was like, ah, like terrified. But anyway, then we became, of course, like really loving friends, and he was a hilarious dog, and his name was Dante, like the poet. And the memory that came to me for some reason was this, that when in winter we have a lot of snow in Finland, like, and we used to have more at that time, sometimes I would take this like sliding carpet that you can slide downhill, uh, um, like a sledge, but just like a plastic carpet. And I would go with the dog, this Dante. We would go to the forest, and then I would like encourage him to run, and I would hold the sledge the leash, and sit on this carpet, and he would run, and I was so light that he would like make this carpet fly in the forest. And now I felt like, wow, that's really like mythical, and I felt like, wow, that was such a good time. I mean, it was wild, and we just did it by ourselves, and we were communicating without words in that way, and we had both fun and yeah. So I felt like my message is that the people would really encourage the children to go to the forest and let connect and play and find this supported wilderness in this way, which is really healthy. So yeah, I feel like in these times that would do a lot of good for everybody. So
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that story and the metaphor that it is for all of us. So we are going to wrap up now. Thank you so much, Raila, for your time and your stories. And if you're watching and you would like to find out more about Raila's Mandala project and her art, there are links here in the post. And if you've enjoyed this conversation and you would love to step in and help to fund the reforestation projects that we have across 8 different projects in 6 countries, we'd really love you to do that, and you can do that by going to treesisters.org/donate. Thank you again so much, Raila, for participating, and we'll see you all again really soon.